Hello, and welcome back to Seduce Me. Last time, we got proposed to by Andrew and finished his route. Or did we find out about James's kinks? I don't even know anymore! But regardless, we need to keep going. We need to continue on with our journey through Seduce Me. We need to do the laughing. I couldn't hold in my laughter anymore. As I laughed, Matthew and Sam looked my way, faces stuffed.
Is something funny? What are you laughing at?
I stopped to catch my breath. I leaned over the table and took a few breaths before replying. You both are so funny! Both of their faces turned bright pink before they looked away from me, and they swallowed the food in their mouths.
Shut up! We're not funny! We're hungry!
But isn't it possible to be both? Is it possible to be funny while you're hungry?
Well, we're glad that we made you laugh.
Shut up, Matthew!
What? I'm just saying.
See, James, it's entertainment for her.
See, James? And he can't respond to that. They were funny to me. At least they enjoyed the food. As I watched, I took a couple pieces of food for myself and placed them on my plate before eating as well. Okay, so that opened up a few possibilities for which boy I'm going to go for next. And now, the moment of truth. Who am I going to help this time? I mean, I already helped James with the garden. So this time, it'll be Erik with the dining room. I stayed in the dining room, knowing that the table had to become a buffet table. As I looked around the room carefully, I noted that the floor needed waxing and the table surfaces needed major dusting. Erik came up next to me, lowered a small mop and bucket he had brought into the floor, and rolled his sleeves up higher on his arm before looking at me with a raised eyebrow.
Are you sure you want to work with me with cleaning this place up? It'll be a lot of cleaning and tidying. Plus, we have to move the chairs to the corner.
I shook my head, rolling up my sleeves and walking to the table, grabbing a hold of a chair. I think I can handle lifting a couple of chairs and moving them. Erik smiled at me with a soft chuckle before following my lead. Eventually, we had moved all the chairs to the corner of the room and had begun cleaning the room and the table. Silence consumed the air as we both focused on cleaning. I decided to start mopping the floor, but as I stepped towards the bucket, my feet rolled over a small fluffy object, causing me to slip. Ah! Before I hit the floor, however, I wound up in the arms of Erik, staring up at him in a dance-like dip while gripping onto his shirt. His face held pure concern as he held on and looked at me.
Are you all right, Princess?
I'm alright. I'm alright. I'll just nod. Yeah, it's okay. I'm alright. All I could do was nod as I stared at Erik. He was genuinely concerned. There was no flirtation or smirk on his face. It was cute to see a new side of him. Erik let out a small sigh in relief.
That's a relief. You didn't twist your ankle, did you?
No, I'm fine. Gently, I felt Erik's arm dip under my knees so he could lift me up bridal style. I gripped to get tighter onto his shirt before he sat me on the table and knelt down to look at my feet. I'm really fine! Take my word for it, dude! If I twisted my ankle, I think I would be able to feel it! Erik didn't speak as he gently looked over my ankles, lightly massaging them to test for pain. I didn't feel any pain. I felt pleasure. I bit my lip as Erik gently massaged his fingers over my skin. I'd had foot massages before, but Erik had amazing skill. Each touch and press sent a wave of pleasure running up my spine. I had to fight to hold back a moan. Eric's face, though, didn't shift to any mischief or seduction. It remained as concerned as ever. He was full of surprises. Eventually, he finished looking over my feet and smiled in relief. He slowly stood up and smiled his usual smile at me with a small giggle.
You were right, Princess. You were fine.
Erik, next time, take my word for it, okay? Erik gently lifted me off the table and lowered me to the floor before placing a swift kiss onto my forehead and continuing his work. I stood there for a moment before slowly walking to the bucket and cleaning as well. My heart continued to pound as we both finished cleaning that room. Whew. Okay, but seriously, Erik, I am fine! I mean, you may think that I'm just saying that in order to get you to not be so worried about me, but seriously, if I twisted my ankle, I think I would be able to feel it. Alright, time for me to make some lunch. Now, I have had simple chicken and rice, and I have had pizza. So this time, cold cut sandwiches, because why the heck not? I assembled simple ham sandwiches for all of us. As I poured some potato chips on the side of each sandwich, I felt satisfied. Who said lunch had to be cooked? I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room to eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focus on training. No! I am gonna go look for one of the incubi! I quickly rushed back and grabbed the second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I returned to the backyard, hoping to find an incubus still there. Luckily, my gut feeling was right. Erik was beside the gazebo, looking at a small flower that was growing on the railing of it. As I approached, Erik turned his head and smiled his usual smile.
Hello, Princess.
Hey, Erik, I got some lunch for you. Here is a sandwich!
Really? You did not have to do that, Princess.
No, it's fine. Here, take your sandwich! Erik smiled and took his food, eating a little bit before looking to the flower again. Out of curiosity, I looked as well. It was a simple white daisy in full bloom. Erik shook his head and chuckled softly as I joined him in flower gazing.
Sorry, I was simply reminded of home.
Huh? Oh no, you're fine. What about home were you reminded of? Erik looked to the sky with a soft sigh and smiled before looking to the flower again.
The castle, mainly. Despite us not being there anymore, it was still our home. We grew up there our entire lives as brothers. There wasn't a day that went by when we weren't all doing something exciting. It was an empty excitement, of course, but it was still something that bonded us all together.
Erik slightly trailed off, looking lost in the nostalgia of his thoughts. I didn't know if I wanted to bother him while he remembered something so obviously important to him. Tell me more, tell me more! Erik turned again to me with a slightly surprised look.
You wish to know more?
Yes. Why not? I'm really curious about the place you lived in. Erik nodded before looking to the flower again. After a second, he gained a look of realization before looking to me again.
Would you like me to show you something instead?
I tilted my head in confusion, but nodded nonetheless. What I was expecting could not have prepared me for what I saw. Erik gently brushed his fingers against the petals of the daisy, making it gently quake at his touch. As the daisy abnormally shivered, its petals shifted from white to purple. The yellow center gently faded into a pink hue as the stem began to burn black. I can only stare as Erik plucked the flower from its place and presented it to me.
Watch closely.
I kept my eyes to the flower as Erik began to mutter something. It sounded close to Latin, but I wasn't sure. Regardless, the flower began to glow in Erik's hand. Some crystal-like spores floated up from the pink center and began to form a circle in the air. As the circle closed, the center filled with smoke, forming a screen of some sort. It was misty, so I couldn't see anything. What is this?
Just watch.
Okay. I I raised an eyebrow, but I followed his instruction. Eventually, the mist faded away, revealing a large throne room. It was all of stone and tile, with the throne itself covered in red fabric and gold metal. Despite it being a mirror image in a magic mirror, I felt small looking at the sight of the throne room. Wow! This looks amazing!
That's our castle. It's a wonderful place. Servants and parties galore.
Yeah, but it comes with your butthole of a dad. Does your father sit on the throne when he's at the parties?
Very much so. He despises dancing and socializing, so he makes the throne his home.
Do you think he's still there now? I must have struck a small chord with Erik because he hesitated before responding. Erik smiled only slightly.
We don't know. When we left, we didn't look back. However, we are sure he's still there, since no one followed us out of the abyssal plains.
Are you sure about that? I bit my lip. Maybe I shouldn't have asked. I felt really bad. However, I didn't feel it for long. The magic suddenly stopped and faded away while Erik dropped the daisy. As the daisy turned back to its white and yellow color, Erik dropped to a knee, groaning in pain. Erik, are you alright?
Yes, princess. I'm fine. I just used too much energy, that's all.
I dropped to a knee to try and examine Erik closer. His face was pale while his purplish eyes shifted back and forth between purple and gold. His breath was heavy, which concerned me. He used too much energy? That meant he needed more.
Please don't worry, princess. I'm fine. Don't worry your beautiful head about it.
Boo! I am gonna worry my so-called beautiful head about it. I'm gonna worry about it by smooching you. I felt responsible. I had to help. I quickly grabbed Erik's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Shifting myself closer, I brought my lips to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. However, Erik grabbed my shoulders and forced me back. I opened my eyes and stared into his frightened golden eyes in surprise. At the same time, I noticed a pink hue running across Erik's face.
Princess? What are you doing?
Giving you energy! I don't know why, but I felt both irritated and accomplished at the question and at the look he was giving me. Where was his flirting? Where was his cocky smirk? From what I remembered, he took advantage of me when we met, yet now he was somehow acting spelled wrong. But anyway, now he was somehow acting inferior to me. I gently grabbed his hands and removed them from my shoulders, tangling my fingers with his. I'm trying to help and give you some of my energy. You used your energy to show me that side, so I want to pay you back for that. Unless you don't want me to help.
Well, I've already taken your energy once before.
That was before. I want to give you energy now. Just let me, okay? All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body heat up as Erik quickly released my hands and wrapped them around my waist, dropping to both knees in front of me. He stared at me with desire in his gaze as he pulled my body to his. Erik leaned his forehead to mine, letting the tips of our noses gently caress each other as he spoke.
You spoil me.
Before I knew it, I was on top of Erik as he laid on the grass below. I stared wide-eyed as he pulled me into a hot, passionate kiss with a gentle hand on the back of my head. Erik's other hand rested on the small of my back while I rested my hands on his chest. I moved myself to straddle his hips to be comfortable in the kiss. The energy from my body was slowly draining, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. While Erik held me, he gently rolled us both over so he was on top of me, kissing me hotly and holding me tightly. I was tempted to wrap my legs around him, but I remained focused on the kiss. It was better that I was on the bottom anyway, with my energy slowly fading from my body. However, the draining feeling suddenly stopped as Erik pulled away and looked down at me. I stared at him as we both panted for air. I had never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Erik, however, didn't move from me, but moved a strand of hair from my face, eyes still full of desire.
I'm completely full, and yet I still desire you.
Well, at least you're honest. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Yes, you do! I opened the opportunity and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I reached up, pulled him down, and kissed him, giving him silent approval to keep going. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and following his hand off around my neck. He moved the ribbon to the ground beside me before gently unbuttoning the top buttons of my blouse, stopping at the buttons above my stomach. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran kisses from my lips to my exposed neck. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back against the grass and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. Erik was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Erik didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps where I shut out my mouth into the open air. He was full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Erik intrigued me immensely, but something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the sky start to spin almost wildly. I gripped onto Erik's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I could let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain on my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled up and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and Erik. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I turned to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied in a nice bow around the daisy Erik had picked with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
You've spoiled me, my princess. I am eternally grateful that you let me indulge like that. Have a good rest.
You are welcome. I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. Spoiled him? I enjoyed it, despite the first-time circumstance. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the daisy to my nose and inhaled its soft fragrance, letting the memories of our meeting flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Erik. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes! 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still feel tired. It was Sunday, so I was allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't trying to impress anyone, but I still needed to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Okay, I know I said this before, but that music though, it's so pretty. I know it's Christopher Escalante who did the music, as well as voicing Erik, but I am just gonna say, dude, you've done good with both. Huh? turned to see Erik, who was holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Erik, miss. I want you to know my real name, if something were to happen.
His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? Erik gently pulled me close to him and leaned close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Uzaeris.
Uzaeris. Uzaeris. Uzaeris. Well, that's gonna be a mouthful! As he said his name, I could feel it walk into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Erik pulled away and smiled at me, despite he'd still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
Okay. I stared up at Erik, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Erik smiled before kissing my hand and heading back into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. And it was! We're gonna have to deal with Malix again. But first, we got James to save us, and then we saved ourselves. I am going to botch this up, but this time we're going to get Erik to help us. Or should I say, Uzaeris! Oh god, I botched it up. I totally botched it up. Uzaeris! I botched it up again! Botching up the names. All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the devils around me to cover themselves.
What the?
Gusts of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my face with my arms, bracing myself and standing my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. As the gust slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing Erik. Erik!
Did you miss me?
However, the seductive smile that graced his lips quickly disappeared as he turned to Malix. As Malix lowered his arms, Erik glared.
You really are evil at its core. Kidnapping an innocent woman like you did. It's disgusting how we demons are confused for your kind.
Look at this little man-whore Erik right here, boys. Might as well sleep with a disease.
Malix, I know you're a butthole, but is there a moment when you're not a butthole, Malix? Is there a time? Is there a time in your life when you're not a butthole? Like, seriously. I mean, I know that's how devils are, but still. The devils around them laughed, including Ares. I am not going to botch that up again, especially considering that it's part of Erik's demon name. Speaking of which, isn't Ares and Erik actually kind of similar? Like, take the S out and replace it with a K. Moving on! I felt a twinge of anger, but Erik must have taken it from me and added it to his own. Erik flicked his wrist and arm across his body, producing a small whipping noise through the air. However, Malix hissed and reached for his cheek as if the air had slapped him hard. What the? When Malix removed his hand from his cheek, I stared wide-eyed at the large slash that was revealed on it. A mixture of red and black blood gently dripped from the wound, causing Malix to growl angrily at Erik.
So, pretty boy thinks he has balls, huh? Well, time to make this pretty boy a dead bitch.
All of a sudden, Malix lifted his gun towards Erik and pulled the trigger. I gasped and stopped, not believing what I was seeing. As I braced myself for Malix's bullet to embed itself into Erik, however, a large ethereal tendril shot up in front of Erik's body, spouting from the ground by his feet. Quickly after the bullet evaporated into the tendril, several others appeared, forming a large purple crown around Erik's body.
What the? What is that?
Did you expect me to come unprepared the second time around? Thanks to my lovely princess, I can now use the full extent of my powers. Unfortunately for you, that means I'm afraid you will lose this fight.
Okay, seriously. Professor Escalante is voice acting here? Amazing. Simply amazing. In other news, are those tentacles?
You cocky little shit!
Alex charged his energy and began to fire bullet after bullet at Erik in anger. However, the tentacle danced across Erik's body with ease, blocking each one as if they were mere pebbles to a wall. The remaining devils stared, trying to figure out what to do, help Alex or watch in silence. Ares, however, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she watched with an amused face.
Die already!
Erik chuckled before snapping his fingers, causing a row of tendrils to appear behind him, pointing their sharp ends at Alex, who continued to fire bullets at the incubus. The tendrils uprooted themselves and floated into the air, straightening out to large spikes before quickly splintering into multiple thinner spikes. I could only stare, completely lost in intrigue at the sight as Erik whipped his hand across his body again. At Erik's command, the spikes flew at Alex, slashing and stabbing into his body. They were thin, barely making pencil-sized wounds, and only a few went into his body. The others scraped and scratched at his skin as they flew by. This didn't kill Alex, however. Alex howled loudly before charging at Erik, causing the incubus to step back in slight shock. Alex pointed his gun at Erik, closing the distance between them, and fired as the barrel almost reached Erik's face. Instead of the bullet ripping into Erik, a large explosion forced both away from each other. Alex bounced off the far wall and landed on his knees, groaning in pain. Erik, however, slid across the ground, landing on his stomach. Erik! Alex slowly planted a foot into the ground to stand, but froze before doing so, staring at Erik's body. Erik, on the other hand, slowly rose and turned to face Alex head-on. Erik reached a hand up and wiped off a small stain of blood that had painted the side of his lip before growling almost animalistically. At that moment, something in the air changed. The air instantly went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in tone as the color red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and red as everything began to blend together all at once.
How persistent. I guess I'll have to go all out on you to finally rid the world of you.
Oh dear! Was this the extent of demon power? My eyes never strayed from Erik's face, however, even as it changed. His eyes began to glow a bright golden color as Erik began to walk towards Alex.
Let's end this.
Alex aimed his gun and fired at Erik, but the bullet never made its target. As the shot erupted from the barrel, the ethereal tendrils erupted from Erik's back, creating a wing-like barrier from the bullet. Alex stared wide-eyed as Erik's tendrils absorbed the bullet and grew almost larger in size and in number with each step Erik took. Erik's skin began to morph and shift, changing from human to something else entirely. Something about Erik grew dark and menacing, and this transformation was making him even darker. Before I was allowed to see Erik's new form, however, a pair of hands quickly covered my eyes. Instinctively, I reached and gripped them, trying to pull them off. A voice stopped me.
It's me. Don't look.
I listened carefully and let the two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Damien's command. I could hear everything, however. I listened as Alex stood up with a pained grunt before being pushed against the wall with another shout. After that came sounds of flesh ripping and blood spurting, followed quickly by Alex's screams. Maybe it was better that I wasn't able to see. Ya think?
Erik, enough!
Almost instantly after James's command, the sound stopped. The air grew silent as a pair of footsteps slowly made their way to where we were.
I just had to be sure he was dead. No use in letting him have a chance to revive.
You're getting sloppy, Erik. You've lost your glamour spell.
Glamour spell? What do you mean? Why did Erik sound so different? why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
I froze. Look human? They didn't look like humans after all? What did they look like?
Like demons.
As if Matthew knew what Damien was talking about, Matthew spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer. Here.
There we are. Thank you, Matthew.
I could hear the small clinking of glass being passed before hearing Erik guzzle down a liquid of some sort. The feeling of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. Finally, Damien moved his hands from my eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Uzaeris, had fled. On top of what I assumed to be Malix's body was dirty shade that was quickly turning red from blood. I couldn't even tell if it was even his body. It seemed lumped together like a pile of parts. The boys, however, had gathered around me, all of them, including Erik, looking like nothing had happened. Whoa, what just... I tried to speak, but everything zipped around my head at the whole event, and I felt like speaking wasn't possible.
Let's just get you home, miss. There's nothing more to see here.
I could only nod. What had happened boggled my mind to the point of disbelief. I was second-guessing everything. Lost in the sea of what and how and when? As he walked out of the warehouse, I looked at Erik for some sort of sign that I wasn't dreaming. Erik smiled softly at me before looking ahead, trying to look like nothing had happened. And it's over. And now we have to face the reality of the situation. The boys were leaving it up to me. They looked like we were willing to accept whatever I had demanded, whether they stay or whether they go. It was only fair, though, after all that happened. I looked at Erik, feeling my heart flare in my chest. I didn't want him to leave, but would he ask to stay? I hoped that he would say no and ask me to stay longer. As if he knew what I wanted, Erik moved and stepped to me, gently moving a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear. He stared into my eyes and spoke, gently stroking my cheek.
Princess, you've been such a wonderful help to us already. But I'm afraid that I must ask more of you. I've grown fond of being here and of serving you. Would you allow us to stay?
My heart skipped while a large red flush ran across my cheeks. The boys stared at Erik wide-eyed, but didn't dare to speak out. Erik stepped back to give me some space, returning to where he was. I moved my gaze across each boy, trying to make a decision. If they left in the morning, I would never see them again. My life could return to normal. If I did decide to let them go, that I would have been for the best. No goodbyes, no delays. But did I want to? No! I wanted them to stay. I wanted him to stay. I merely smiled, staring at the man I had come to have feelings for before speaking at last. I would love it if you all could stay. The boys cheered tiredly, but nonetheless enthusiastically. I giggled at the sight. It was cute to see everyone so excited, despite the tiredness that ran equally through our bodies. Today was a rough day. My home is your home, as long as you can still help with the chores. The boys nodded in unison, agreeing to the terms I had set for them. Despite the good situation, I felt myself slowly slipping into unconsciousness. However, James quickly clapped his hands together, getting everyone's attention and waking me up, making sure I didn't pass out on the floor.
All right, everyone. We're all very tired, so let's head to bed, shall we?
Oh! Yeah, sleep is actually a thing. Right.
We've had a very long day, but it will be good to just relax tonight and tomorrow.
Sleep sounds really good right now.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. I watched a very happy smile grow onto Erik's lips. He shared my excitement, knowing we would all be together longer. Who knew how long we would stay together? All I cared about was that I would be with him. The others quickly left to finally rest, leaving me and Erik alone at last. My heart fluttered a bit as Erik walked closer to me, gently wrapping his arms around my waist. I placed my hands onto his shoulders, leaning close.
Yet again, you spoil me. I'm very unworthy of you, Princess.
Hush, Erik. I wanted you to stay. I stared up into his eyes, getting lost in them. I didn't know if it was the tiredness or my growing attachment to him, but I felt myself leaning into Erik's body. It invited me to stay a while, making me forget that My bed was also calling for me.
Listen, about what happened at the warehouse.
No, it's fine. You did what you had to do. I understand. I accepted everything while in Erik's form. He was real, and he was someone I didn't want to be without, even if that meant nodding against my curiosity. Besides, I was too tired to explore that memory further. Erik nodded before kissing my forehead sweetly.
Come, let's get you to bed.
I nodded before Erik gently lifted me up into his arms like a bride and carried me to my room. I didn't want to leave his arms, laying my head against Erik's chest, but eventually I was slowly lowered to my bed and covered with bed covers. I was still in my school clothes, but I was too tired to strip or care. I looked at Erik, fighting a yawn from escaping me as he gently ran a hand over my hair.
Have a good night, princess. I'll prepare breakfast for you in the morning.
Okay. I nodded with a tired smile before watching him slowly stand and leave my room, closing the door. A wave of happiness washed over me as I laid in bed. I made a good choice. Sure, it would be hard, but I could tell that I would be able to manage it. Help around the house and being with a man who I was slowly starting to fall for would be worth it. I slowly felt my exhaustion take over. I let sleep consume me as I drifted into the darkness in my mind. Everything was peaceful. I was happy.
You are an interesting creature.
And then we have Diana. But how about we deal with her next time? So, thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a like, and see ya in the next one. Yep, see ya.